Capo, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So it's been what, several days since you had your second session?
3-4 days.
3 or 4 days. And how you been since your session?
Good. Been facing things a little bit differently. Giving my chance to practice what I just went through.
Yeah. So you've been tapping on yourself too?
Yeah, not all the time physically, but sometimes mentally.
Well, that's the best way to do it. Usually.
Whatever the circumstance, renders, kind of. But I've had a good experience with it. And more so, I think I know that from the 2 sessions I had put together a little bit more about who I am, how I function, and why some of the things I do it the way I do. And it was comfortable for me this time because I related it to different types of healing that I'm familiar with, and it tied right into it. So it was good.
So you said different types of healing are related. So how did it fit for you with the different types of healing and understanding?
Well, being that I'm Polynesian, I'm familiar with the Ho'oponopono process. And in the Ho'oponopono process, we refer to our unihipili. It's our child side. And we check in with that and process what we have to process and embrace that relationship, cleanse, come away from it.
So how does that relate to FasterEFT with that understanding?
Well, it was pretty much the same parallel when I got to a certain point when I would refer to it as the final cleansing of those past experiences and understanding why some of my present stuff is like this. In the cleansing of that, I hooked up with my child's side.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lot of relation with my experiences with my childhood. In fact, I kept coming up with a time period of 5 years old. A lot of the things that was coming out was relative to that time period in my life. And then after having a chance to look at it and kind of understanding, okay, why was it hitting me so much? And then we started breaking it down and started coming up with some abandonment things and just a whole bunch of resentments and, which led to me kind of understanding some of my issues that I go through now with control and anger and stuff like that. So it was kind of awesome that this time with the faster process.
FasterEFT, yeah.
Faster, how do you refer to it?
FasterEFT.
FasterEFT. It was cool that I got what I got out of it, going in with an open mind and it coming off of a bad experience beforehand, not with your style.
With EFT.
With the EFT.
Yeah.
And so it worked out well.
So, we talked a while ago about, we talked about the FasterEFT belief system, and you talked about the Ho'oponopono belief system, and even Jeff was talking about it, said there's such a parallel in what we do with FasterEFT and bringing in the making peace with the inner self, the child self, or our parent self, or all these different things. And is that how you see it as well?
Absolutely, because especially for me, with my spiritual life and me being part Polynesian, all my relationships in life are not primarily physical all the time. They're far and away in different states and different islands, but the connection is just as strong. So the relationship is still there. So when things affect me in those relationships, the FasterEFT is good, as like the Ho'oponopono resembles and parallels each other because it's a fast, clean. It's just for me, it was an identification of what was happening, the reasons why my view is like that.
And then the release.
And then the release, the cleansing of it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome. It was, it was awesome to see that universal truth, that universal truth being supported and identifying understanding cleansing. Two different names, the Ho'oponopono, the FasterEFT. But it was nice because it was another, what I felt, solid technique that I could practice from day to day. And I have been, you know.
And it's pretty immediate fast too. I mean, it's like you identify, you release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast enough so that sometimes it even tripped me out. I kind of like set myself up. It's like, okay, I'm going to try this, see if this works. Boom. Okay, let it go. Just let it go. It really is. Okay, safe to let it go. Boom, peace, boom. Okay, so what was I thinking again? You know what I mean? It's like it just went boop. Okay, wow, this stuff really works, huh? So again, you know, it was... you know, whatever anybody wants to say about what it does, what it doesn't do, for me, it was important to me to keep an open mind in something that, especially now, I know can be a tool utilized not only in my healing, but in my progress of life.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because of the, you know, my day-to-day constrictions of present time, going into fantasy land with things, and then being able to come back to present time.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that a lot of people think that Ho'oponopono is just the 4 phrases. I love you, please forgive me, and I'm sorry. But it's much bigger than that. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of releasing. It's a way of processing information. It's the data, or it's the child or self. And so understanding that there's more than just 4 words, four phrases. It's a belief system, it's a culture, it's an ideology.
Yeah, and I do believe that it is deeper. It is deeper.
Yeah.
But what's awesome about it is even with the FasterEFT on the 2 sessions that I had, regardless of where I was with understanding it, I came out knowing that was some deep stuff too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I confirmed it was deep because of the results.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, man, when you talk about the whole Ho'oponopono thing, and when you talk about the FasterEFT, then I'm talking about being committed and being loyal to who I am as a person. Polynesian too, because that goes deep for me. So it's my journey, man. So I don't expect a whole bunch from it right now, but I appreciate that it's something in my life that can help me get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just talking to a resident today when they were asking me, you know, they were asking me some things, and we came to the point of talking about freedom, you know. And so he asked me if you could put it into a nutshell, Kapo, what's the most important thing in your life? And I said, freedom, man. But I don't mean it as totally being out of prison, you know. For people like us, we've been in prison mentally, spiritually, or physically for whatever the duration. So with going through my changes in life and understanding what freedom means to me now, I think that's the core of my movement. And how does that work for other people, you know, in my life, and staying true to that.
Very good. And I think that's what most people would love to have.
Yeah.
And the good thing is you got a good start on it.
Yeah.
You know, just keep experiencing it.
You know, and I'm going to practice it because especially being in a setting like this, being around all the residents, the characteristics come up, you know, and everybody's person comes up. So even when the dope's not on the table and not around, you can still feel it, you can still hear it sometimes. You know, it's coming out of the woodworking, out of people around here. So I was kind of asking myself today, so you're gonna have to keep like your maintenance up on this because like you're in the pit of everything, man. you're like on the front line of where all this shit happens. So it's like,
Well, the good thing too, as you're working through this piece, this is about personal growth, personally for myself. As you work through the pieces that show up in your routine, what's going to happen is that the pieces are going to fade, and then you'll just walk through. You heard the saying, though I walk through the valley of all the drugs, I have no fear, because I got the power in the peace right here. Because there's one thing no one can take from you, and that's what you hold inside. And that's where your biggest investment is. And that's what you need as you work through this. And myself and my practitioner say, hey, listen, you're going to have clients that are going to come and help stir your stuff up. Own up, release it, and transform it. It'll make you a better practitioner. It'll make you a better father, a better husband, a better friend, and a better worker here to help guide and direct them to what they really need to do. And that's because you'll be like a beacon of power and truth. And that's what people need, is someone who actually is in control and at peace wherever he's at.
you know, and that's awesome to hear that, because I just got out of the system. I've been 14 years in the system on an open 20 for manslaughter. And I just got released like 2 months ago. You know, so it's been a long journey. But the first thing I realized was after I got out of the system, the same judge that has been with me for 13 years out of that 14 cut me loose. And one of the first things I realized was they would treat me the same way if I was in, if I screwed this up. But then the other thought was, well, man, you don't got too much to worry about, because it's like you're working on your freedom and you're working on this and you're going that way. So it's nice to have another tool in my arsenal to work on.
Very good. Very good. Use it.
Cool.
Good man. Good job. That's good.